Okay, in this video I'm going to talk about pop art and what pop art is a little bit, kind of a really quick explanation of what it is, and then I'm going to show you how to make a digital photography pop art artwork of your own. Okay, so that was a lot. Alright, so pop art started in the 1940s, 50s era, and one of the most famous pop art artist is Andy Warhol. I'm sure a lot of you have still seen this image right here of Marilyn Monroe, who was a very huge celebrity icon of that time. And one of the biggest ideas behind pop art is of objects that are popular for that time. So the difference between pop art now versus then when it was created is the actual objects that are going to be in the pop art. So for example, pop art back then could have not been of President Barack Obama because he wasn't the president at that time. He wasn't popular then. Whereas pop art now then might have been about Elvis. And now, you know, that really wouldn't be the case because he isn't that popular. You don't see him that often. Alright, so that's a little bit about what pop art is. It's mainly the objects that are in there, and it does have this certain style, and oftentimes you see the object repeated multiple times, and that's just to show how, you know, like on the news or on TV or in ads, you see that object over and over and over. Especially people, they become less of a person and more of this icon. So that's what pop art kind of originated as. Alright, so here's a few. You know, there's Andy Warhol himself. He did other things like the Campbell soup. You know, so it doesn't have to be just people that are popular. It could be any object to you that is popular. So technology or people or food. Okay, so just like our other photography project, you're going to take a picture. So you're going to have to think through, you know, what's popular to you. This could be a self-portrait. You know, there's no reason you can't make a pop art self-portrait, or this could be a picture of your animals, or your laptop or phone, or really anything that's popular to you. I chose to do my favorite coffee. I love coffee for obvious reasons, and so there's my photograph. Try to set up a nice photograph. Take as many as you need and think about camera angles. Then you can either plug your device in through a cord to your laptop to get your pictures downloaded that way, or you can email them like I have. So download your picture, just like we have for our other project. Alright, and then we're going to be using the same app, which is pixlr.com/e. This time, instead of opening an image, we're actually going to create a new. So it's kind of like instead of editing one picture, we're going to start like with a blank page. I'm just going to title it Pop Art. Now this right here, this is going to be landscape, so you can reverse those if you'll see what I'm talking about. So it's longer than it is wide, therefore it's landscape, so you can reverse those if you want. But in Pixlr, what we haven't talked about is these layers. We did talk about this is your zoom in and out. But layers in Photoshop and in Pixlr, it's like stickers. So when you add a sticker, you can add image or a text, you're just adding things to that page. So I'm going to scroll through and find my coffee picture. Alright, when pictures come in, it's a good idea. Oh, I don't know what happened to it. Alright, there it is. Now you can edit this, crop it. I'm going to make it just smaller, mainly. Shrink it down. Kind of decide how you want it to look, if you're going to do more than one. Alright. Think about your borders. I try to do 2 blocks on each side. Alright, so what I'm going to do is we're going to use a filter, and it is the one that we're going to use is we're actually going to use an adjustment called posterize. Alright, and if you up this, it's going to edit it in a pop art style. So just kind of remember what number you like the best. I would definitely not choose anything over like a 7. Alright, just because it's not really going to be that pop art style that works well for this. For mine, I'm going to choose a 2 just because I think that looks good. And remember that that's what you chose because you're going to have to edit this picture multiple times. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to adjust the colors. And see how you can change it in this pop art style right here. So you just select the color you like. You can also do the color balance right here. And that just, you know, changes it in a little bit of a different way. You can pick if you're going to change the midtones or the highlights and do quite a bit of stuff editing that. So get it the way you like it. Alright, and what I'm going to do now, once I get my first image the way I like it, I'm going to add another layer. Again, it's just going to be the same picture of that coffee. We're just going to repeat it over and over. We're going to have to shrink it down again, I'm sure. Alright, and it's always better to take your own photographs for artworks. You know, it's very similar to copyright laws and things like that, but if you don't have anything around the house that you're really wanting to do for this, or if you're just wanting to play around with it first before you start your own project, you can download a picture of, you know, a celebrity or someone that is very popular to you. So what I did right there is I shrank it down and I'm lining those two up with each other just to make sure they're the right size. And then I'm going to go over 2 blocks on that gridded background right there and line those two up. Alright, so I'm going to go back to my adjustments and posterize. We're just repeating the same steps. I'm going to go to a 2 again. Alright, and then you would edit this in a different way. Again, the saturation makes it brighter or duller if you're wanting to do it black and white. Alright, so edit those how you like, and then you'll just keep going in. What I suggest doing though is maybe titling your layers, and you can do that just by double clicking. Well, might have to hit there and go to rename. There you go. Sorry, hit those 3 dots on the side of it, and then you can title those like that. I do believe there's a way, rather than every time going in and adding a new layer, I believe there's a way to duplicate. Let me make sure. Yeah. So if you hit this duplicate layer, what that's going to do is give you a second one. And that's probably a little bit easier than going in every time and adding a new layer and readjusting the size, because then it'll be the exact same size. And then you should be able to go in and do the hue and saturation and just change the color of it so that it's still different than the one before it. So again, what I did there is I hit the 3 dots and just hit duplicate layer right there, and it gives you another one that you can, you know, put somewhere else. Alright, so what you can do in art, it is okay completely to have objects crop off. Alright, as long as you do that in a planned way. So like if you wanted to have this one cropped and then move all these over, just try to keep your borders even. when you're creating your composition. The composition is just how you choose to put these objects on the page. Down here, now that we're going to have extra, you could actually add a font or something down there. You are going to need to give it a background. You can do that with the paint bucket. You can choose a color, white and black or standard, or you could pick, really any color that you want to use over here, and you'll just click on the background. Oh, see, now why that did not work is my background layer, you might want to name it just so it don't get confusing on what you're on. You have to be on that layer in order for it to work. Okay, so if you're so you can change the background color like that. There we go, finally. Alright, now if you're wanting to crop, so you really didn't know what size to make this when you originally started, you can always use your crop tool. Just again, like I've been saying, try to make sure your borders, if you're going to have a border, are even. Alright, and then after this you can file, save it, and turn it in on your ePortfolio, and you'll have a pop art style art project.